Hi everyone, I'm Rachel, a radical soul untangled. So, so I have the spread already set out because I had started recording and uh, and then there's an interruption and it kind of messed up my flow, and I didn't want to just try to pick up where I left off. It was just kind of very frustrating, flustering for me. But I really liked this spread and I didn't want to have to do it all over again. Um, so I'm gonna stick with it and try to get and kind of calm myself down and got myself back into the flow. And so here we are. So the theme behind this spread, this is using the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krans. Like I said, I did an unboxing video for that, so you should check that out. And I did a flip through with my initial impressions, and really like it. And I felt, some good energy with that. Kind of resonated with me on a good level. I've seen other tarot readers use it, so I decided I'd give it a shot, and I figured I'll do a reading with it. And I was inspired. Yesterday was Groundhog Day, and something I posted on my Facebook group was the page. What I posted on my Facebook page was, happy Groundhog Day. What kind of cycles are you working on breaking free from? Because I think we all have some familiarity with the movie Groundhog Day. I've never seen it all the way through, but we all know Bill Murray is kind of a jackass, as usual. And the whole movie is about him learning how to be less of a jackass and breaking out of this cycle. Otherwise he's just kind of doomed to live the same day over and over again. And that's really what karma is. I've had a friend that posted more than once recently how karma doesn't exist because the bad people just aren't getting punished. And it's like, if you really understood the pattern that they're stuck in and all the suffering they actually experience, you'll realize that's punishment enough. And we all have that to some extent, in various degrees. And so I was inspired. It was kind of in here, it was called the Clarity Spread. God, every time I flip right to it. So Clarity Spread, and it's just, card 1 is your overall situation, and then 2, 3, 4 are just like, energies that either support or maybe hinder it. And so for the situation, I was going with the idea of what kind of cycle do we need to break, or what kind of new energy do we need to start bringing in? What kind of new cycle do we need to start? Because so much of our time is actually spent thinking what I don't want, what I don't like, what I'm unhappy with about myself or about my situation, that we forget to foster, nurture, cultivate what is wanted, what we do want to bring into our lives, the kind of joy we want to experience. And so I went ahead with that, and I started this spread. And so I'm calling this kind of like cycle breaker, because it was going to depend, if this is a cycle we want to break out of or bring in. And this came out as Ace of Swords, but in the reverse. And Swords energy is, thought, and aces are kind of like, usually a new thought, or a new idea. That just kind of pops into your head. In this case, though, I take this to mean like a core belief, a core thought that you repeat to yourself constantly, day in and day out. Either a negative, belief about yourself, or about your situation, or about just how the world is. Oh, this is how the world is. This is how the world is. The world's not fair. World's not fair. I'm a fuck up. I'm a fuck up. I never get what I want. I never get enough money. I never have enough money. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Any of these core beliefs that you repeat to yourself in different ways, thousands of times a day, every day, in your head, out loud, in your actions. This, to me, is telling me that it is long past time. Because see how we have kind of like this infinity. It's not even like necessarily a snake. I don't see a head, it's like an Ouroboros, but it's like an infinite loop. And that's kind of, for me, showing how, this thought has like, a lock on you, and you just play it in this infinite loop in your head day in and day out. I'm a fuck up, no one loves me. I'm a fuck up, no one loves me. I'm so messed up, nobody loves me, you know, or, you know, any other negative belief that just makes you feel bad. And you're just drilling it in your head all the time, and you're constantly seeing evidence for it, but you're not cultivating, you know, new thoughts, helpful thoughts, loving thoughts. Or you are, but you're not paying them enough attention, you know, because you're still, you're for whatever, it's like one step forward, two steps back sometimes, you know. For every one happy thought or wanted thought you have, you still have, you know, so it's like swimming upstream, swimming against the stream, you know, fighting this current. You have these new thoughts that you're trying to launch into your life, and you have like this steady current of negative thoughts going. And I feel like that's really reinforced by this. This is Seven of Wands, but it's in the reverse. So upright, you know, Seven of Wands, it's kind of, let's see, 6 is kind of like the victory, the public victory of overcoming a hardship or conflict. And the 7 is kind of like the inner strength you get from that victory and recognition of that accomplishment. So 7 is, you know, you coming into your confidence, inner sense of, not peace, but, you know, you become more self-assured, but in a healthy way. That's why I take this, you know, central wand that's lit, you know, it's showing like a burning new sense of confidence, but here we have it in the reverse. So this is more like confusion then. You're like, well, maybe I succeeded at that, but maybe it was a fluke. Maybe, you know, you ever do that, you know, where something does go right and you put it down, or you put yourself down, you know, you make this great grand accomplishment, and then you start saying, well, it wasn't that hard, it wasn't that challenging, I didn't do anything great, I did what anybody else would do, I'm not special, you know. So this is saying like you're either like downplaying your accomplishments, you know, or anything good that has happened to you. You're maybe not, you know, you're resisting it, really, you know, you're pushing against it. Somebody's like, hey, you did a great job. Yeah, well, here's where I screwed up though, you know. So that's what this 7 of Wands energy in reverse. This is saying that you need to release these old thought patterns. You need to release, and that's part of the pattern is, you know, not just beating the drum of these negative thoughts, but doing that makes you downplay your successes or doubt your capabilities, because you don't just go, yeah, I did awesome at that. Yeah, that worked out for me. Things mostly work out for me, you know. You're too busy discounting the positive, you know. That was a fluke. Anyone could have done it. I'm not special. It won't work out next time, you know. So it's like a lack of faith, but faith in yourself and faith that things inevitably do work out for your benefit in the long run. And so we have 8 of Wands, a lot of Wands energy here. And this is just basically the swift and decisive action. So, you know, and we have like a lightning bolt. We have the 8 wands here, and we have a lightning bolt, you know, striking them right in the middle. So they're all aligned, you know, well, you know, at a central point, and that lightning is, and it's a rainbow lightning, you know, it's not just a bright yellow or white bolt. So to me, this is showing, going with chakras, a chakra like alignment. So this means you need to really start getting serious on, you know, your spiritual development, because, you know, psychological stuff can only take you so far. It's helpful. It can lay some very important groundwork, but for me, it really wasn't until I started embracing a more spiritual aspect, linking, you know, my body and my mind and my soul to really advance in my healing and personal growth journey. So this is saying that, you know, you kind of have to really start working at your spiritual growth. And whatever path that is, there's no right way and there's no wrong way. Just go for it, and don't be afraid to experiment. You know, don't be afraid if I'm doing it wrong or not. There's always ways to like maybe do it better or do it right, but really feel for it. But just keep moving forward. Just keep pressing on. And also, this swift, decisive action means that anytime you start to fall into those old thoughts or those old self-doubts, you start going, no, stop it, stop it. No, we're not thinking that way anymore. No, we're not. We're thinking this way now. So you can't just say, no, stop thinking this way. That's not going to work. You go, nope, we're not thinking that. We are thinking the good thoughts now. And not in a way that's, you don't deny it. You just kind of recognize. You don't say, oh, things aren't so bad. You kind of, how do I say this without sounding trite, you know? You know, it's like training a puppy, or, you know, or correcting a child when they're doing something that is not going to be in their best interest to maintain that bad habit growing up. So that's what you're doing. You're not, you know, denying it. You're not necessarily validating it. You're just stopping a bad habit. And you're stopping it in its tracks every time you catch it, every time you're aware that you're doing it. You say, oh, nope, that's not helping me. That's not serving me. That's not a good thought to have. That's not a good road. I've been down that road before. It's unpleasant. It sucks. So, nope, we're going to redirect. That's the other thing. That's the other step people forget about. You have to redirect. You know, you have to go, nope. I'm not going to focus on the things that are just going bad for me, because really more things are going right for me. Really, you know, I got up, you know, in time to get to work on time today. Traffic wasn't so bad. You know, I made sure I ate my meal. You start with every little thing. You do gratitude, or like an attaboy or attagirl for every little thing that you did right, instead of to pull your focus away from these old negative thoughts and self-doubts. So as soon as you catch that, you stop, that lightning bolt hits it, you stop it right in its tracks. And you, even though 8 comes after 7, look, you hit that lightning, you flip over the 7 there, you light that torch of your self-confidence every time. You know, that's what the goal is. You're not just telling yourself, nope, stop it, you're wrong, that's dumb. You're saying, oh, nope, that doesn't help us. We're zapping that. We're zapping those old thoughts, those old core beliefs. And we are zapping these thoughts, these good, happy thoughts too. And we are lighting that torch of self-confidence, of and personal development and all that, you know, self-growth and self-love. You know, and so we're flipping that the right way. I'll put it back reverse so we remember that that's self-doubt and confusion. And this is, you know, confidence in ourselves, you know, through experience, not an empty confidence like I'm the greatest person in the world. This is confidence through experience. I want to clarify that when it's in the upright. Because like I said, 6 of Wands is usually victory, you know, public victory after a major conflict. So 5 is like conflict, 6 is, you know, victory, publicly recognized, and then 7 is the confidence that you get from that. But in the reverse, it's self-doubt and confusion. Yeah, things worked out for me, but so this is, you take this lightning, this 8 of Wands lightning bolt, and you zap that wand so that it becomes a big blazing torch of self-confidence through your experience, you know. And then that brings us to the last energy to work with or to consider, and that's the devil energy. The devil is basically ego. In some decks they call it ego. Like I have these angel wisdom decks over here, and they actually, at least one of them calls them ego. I forget if both do. But yeah, so usually it's showed with a couple, usually Adam and Eve are the lovers, and they are naked but chained to a block with a demon, with the devil on top of it. So showing how they're like enslaved to their old worldly drives, and that usually means that like addictions or materialism. It doesn't just mean addicted to drugs or alcohol. It can just mean addicted to, compulsive scrolling on Facebook or other social media things, compulsive shopping, gossiping, all kinds of things that just, or you shouldn't, you shouldn't do, you'd feel better if you stopped, but you don't. And so this is telling us that we need to really take an evaluation. And sometimes we can be addicted to these negative thoughts because they're constant. If we've practiced these for years, if not decades, usually since our teens, maybe even earlier now. My daughter's only 11, and she's saying stuff that didn't occur to me to feel bad about myself until I was like 14 or 15. So that's a bummer. I mean, she's coming out of it now. As I work on myself, she's coming out of it. But she's already started down this road, and she's only 11, and I don't think I was quite that young. I feel like she's where I was when I was like in my mid-teens. So like I said, luckily, as I work on myself, she's definitely coming out of those patterns. But it's showing that where I was going with that is, got a little personal there, is that those are thought patterns that are so well practiced, so deeply entrenched, that they're actually get kind of comforting, don't they? There's a Nirvana song lyric that would echo in my head sometimes where it's, I miss the comfort of being sad. Because we're so used to practicing this thought form that it's so constant, it's reliable, and we can derive comfort from something just being reliable. It doesn't have to be something we enjoy, but the fact that we can count on it can give us a degree of comfort. And when we rely on our external situation bringing us happiness, bringing us a sense of, security, when we only rely on the external sources, but we're still beating this kind of negative thought drum, it's very fleeting. It doesn't last. That's why you can go shopping, you feel good for about 10 minutes. And if you get home, you take the thing out, you go, oh, that's nice. I really like that. I like this new deck I got. Oh, well. Oh, emptiness is back. Or just, Netflix and chill to infinity, you feel comforted of it, but then you almost immediately feel bad as well. And so it's not even saying you can't do those things anymore. Doesn't mean you can't have a day where you just binge watch Netflix. That's fine, but you have to allow yourself to kind of enjoy it and say, hey, this is actually replenishing me. I actually need this day of just watching like several hours of Netflix. But I'm working on it, and I won't be so reliant on this in the future, I need this now, but eventually there'll come a day where I don't need it as much, and I'm working on that. And so this is just saying, think of what kind of addictive behaviors, if it's not substances, or it could be substances, what do you rely on heavily? I've never had legit alcoholism, but there have been times where my life was challenging and I was struggling a lot, and I would get mad if I realized when I got home from work that there wasn't any alcohol in the house. I would get really annoyed. And then once I really became aware of how annoyed I was by not having any kind of booze in the house, I'd be like, yeah, I guess it's good that I'm too broke to afford some right now. I really should probably not get any for a while. And so that's how I can do that, But yes, so anyway, kind of consider what kind of devil energy you use and kind of realize that this is the connection with the devil energy. The devil energy isn't making you have these negative thoughts. It's your negative, so the devil energy meaning these unwanted behaviors that don't really serve your highest and best good, but they're coping mechanisms. And they're coping mechanisms from the pain that you feel from these negative thoughts and this self-doubt. That's what feeds the devil energy. It's not a devil, an external force imposing these addictions upon you. It's that you are creating this energy by feeding these negative thoughts that generate self-doubt. And so you resort to these behaviors that don't ultimately serve you, that you shouldn't do as much, or you don't want to do as much. You want to do other things. You want to be more creative. You want to create things. You want to have more momentum moving forward in your life instead of feeling stuck all the time. The devil energy will make you feel stuck. Like I said, usually it shows people chained by their necks to a rock, a stone that has the devil sitting on it. And that's like their addiction. They're a slave to their addictions. So in order to break out of that, you have to zap these negative thoughts with that lightning bolt. And just as you, at the same time you zap those negative thoughts with the lightning bolt, stop it. You also go, and here's a good thought that I really like, that makes me feel good. And you light that torch so that you can get that, 7 of Wands flipped upright and illuminating you, building your confidence, reminding yourself all the times that things worked out well, all your good accomplishments, and not putting yourself down or saying they're flukes or anything like that. So anyway, that's a good reading, I think. Humble brag. But does anybody use humble brag anymore? Did I just date myself? Whatever, I don't care. Anyway, I hope you found this reading, this cycle breaker reading, helpful. I might do this again. I really liked it. Especially like I said, got that interruption, really messed with my flow, but having a chance to really look over the cards, really got a nice consistent flow. Got a good clear message through. So anyway, I'm Rachel, a Radical Soul Untangled. Thank you so much for your time in watching this. Take care.